Hello people, Christina Wolf here, and if you can't tell, I'm in my new office, and I am, look how barren it is. I'm using a selfie stick as a tripod, so bear with me. I'm sorry if you get a motion sickness or a headache as I attempt to adjust this. Hello Samantha, welcome. Thanks for joining. I'm using a selfie stick on my phone here, so wow, this is gonna be unique because I wanted to have the option for people to pop on and join me, and the lighting in here is not to my liking, but hey, we're just gonna go with it. So I'm so glad you're here, and welcome to another week of conversations about the universe and you in it. And hi Linda. Thanks for joining. I'm just gonna kind of talk a little bit about my week while a couple people pop on. If you're on your smartphone, as we get into it, if you want to pop on the chat and say something, you guys are more than welcome to let me know you want to hop on and I can invite you in. And so a couple things. My day, I just literally got my office set up. So it's not even like hardly set up really. I'm going to be decorating it. And one of the things that I wanted to talk about this. I learned in my shaman studies how to smudge a house, and I still need to do that properly for my new home. And one of the things that I learned, once you cleanse your home, well actually anything that you use within your home, you should probably smudge as well, and that includes crystals. And I wanted to share with you my really awesome new selenite sticks that I got. Woo-hoo. Look at how awesome they are. They're just, I love them. They're just so angelic looking. So I got them super cheap online from a place in Florida. It's like Amazon.com. But you can get a bundle of 10. They come like this. And I bought quite a few because I was taught, selenite is used for purification. And whenever you smudge a home, a new home, or anything that you, any space that you want to purify, it's a good idea to put, ooh, I'm seeing Michelle wants to come on. Hi, Michelle. Give me 1 second. I'll pop you on. Selenite is a really excellent crystal to use in each room of your house, and to place a selenite crystal or little stick like I showed you in each corner of each room, and that adds in protection and purification. And I'm going to be doing that this weekend, and it's going to smell like sage in my house. And after I've done it with my house, actually I'm waiting for a few more items to come in the mail before I can completely smudge my house. Technically you're supposed to smudge it before you move in. However, the way I see it is, I don't like shoulds and supposed tos. So I'm gonna do it when I have everything that I want to add to my house. And these are all things that my mentor Olga has taught me. Some of them are directly like native tradition, and some are just a combination of the other spiritual practices that she's followed before, like Reiki and crystals and that sort of stuff. So I'm waiting on some obsidian arrowheads that I'm also going to put on the outside of the house. So, but anyway, I wanted to share with you those selenite sticks because I'm planning to put them in each corner of the room after I smudge the home. And eventually, if I do it a few times and I get real comfortable with the process, I'd really like to share the process for smudging. So let me know if you guys are interested, curious, would like to know more about it. And I'm really I feel like this lighting is like awful. But as you can see, this is my same old bookshelf here for my new office here. It's a little bit bigger. I'm in a different angle now, so but I like it that the windows are on a different direction, so it's gonna look a lot brighter in here. So how is everybody doing this week? We're like full-blown Pisces, sun in Pisces. So for me, I'm a Sagittarius, so like Piscean energy tends to feel like putting a damper on me because I'm a fire sign. I'm the mutable fire sign, and Pisces is full-blown water. And so it's that like side of me that feels very emotional and irritable. Like, and I don't know if that's just the way because I've been in this incredible transition and moving, but I think a lot of people have been saying like, oh, it just feels kind of like that, almost like emotional weepiness, like PMS. For some reason, this week has been that way. So, if anybody else has experienced something similar or different, I'd love to hear about it. The other thing I wanted to go over was, so now I'm working full time, and then I come home and I get sort of prepared for these events, and I wanted to show you guys, or just kind of do a little transition meditation that I use to really help me. Yeah, Christy, you were really emotionally irritated. Yes. I think that the headache thing too has a lot to do with the pressure in the air, and yeah, Mercury retrograde is coming on. I think there's just a few other celestial movements that are also causing us to have a little bit of the weepy irritation, kind of how we're interacting with other people type thing going on. So whenever I get like feeling a little crazy, I feel like I absolutely at that time need to really practice like grounding. And whenever, I don't know about you, but like whenever there's a big transition in the day, like getting home from work, something like that, it's like really important to practice this, what I call energetic hygiene. And one of the ways that I do that is this is super simple. Maybe even if it's just the placebo effect, it doesn't matter. It has a really amazing effect on me. Just simple brushing. Like, you don't have to touch yourself. You just kind of go all down, and it's towards the ground. You know, if you can't see what I'm doing, I'm going literally like brush yourself. And hopefully my poor little selfie stick, my homemade tripod, isn't gonna fall over on me, so bear with me. If it does, we'll all laugh together. But anyway, you're gonna literally go like, just kind of brush over yourself. And it's a good way to also keep in mind, you can go down the back of you. This is what you do also when you want to smudge yourself. If you're coming into, let's say, a sacred circle, something like that, make sure you cover, you're essentially purifying your energetic field. And I think I mentioned this in last week's, or maybe it was the what do you call it, the card reading. That sage itself, one of the herbs you can use for smudging, actually has been shown to have like it kills bacteria in the air. So I think I need to get into a better habit of smudging myself regularly. But literally, if you don't have smudge, it's the essence of what you're doing. It's the intention behind what you're doing, and literally just brushing. You know, and I use that like if, let's say I was out with a whole bunch of people, like being at work all day, and then when I want to come in to my house, I don't want to carry in all those other people's energy, right? So I'll literally just smudge myself or brush myself before, you know, coming inside. And it almost just that simple act helps me transition and not bring, like, pollute the energy in my home, right? And so when we're really conscious about, like, the kind of energy that we're putting out or adding to the space we're in, and, you know, we work very consciously to create a harmonious space, we're really cognizant of what we allow and don't allow into our personal space. So you can get as really specific as the thoughts you let yourself think, but it really could, you know, a good place to start is just very physically, we're, you know, thinking about the energy that you have on you. Sometimes we're taking on other people's stuff. And one of the wonderful phrases that I love is, what's mine is mine, what's yours is yours. And it really helps you to, I think from a metaphysical sense, just transition, also to recognize, like, how am I really feeling, and recognizing what really truly is yours. Like, because we can, if you're empathic, if you're very intuitive, you tend to take on the feelings of other people around you. Like, I had this really crazy conversation with my mom last week, and I just started feeling, like, super agitated, and I was like, wow, like, I didn't realize how much I had absorbed her energy because she was very upset about something at the time. And so if you're prone to doing that because you're very open and you like to connect with others, be wise or conscious of, how am I feeling? What is the energy I'm taking on? And if you feel like you took on something that was a little negative, or like giving you, like, kind of maybe a panicky or an unpleasant sensation, feel free to use this brushing technique, and also literally this imagery in your mind of grounding yourself, like, you know, as you're breathing, deeply breathing, you picture this root going deep into Mother Earth, down through the earth, and as you breathe, every breath you have just takes it deeper and deeper into the center of the earth. And then, you know, you can imagine that the roots just go around this big molten, like, rock that's within the center of the earth. And every time I picture that, I tend to just really get, like, super calm. And when you have some quick go-to grounding techniques that, like, you know, you can do kind of inconspicuously, you know, if you're in, like, the grocery store or something, and you're feeling yourself getting panicky, like, too many people here, I'm aggravated, kids are driving me bananas, you know, like, nothing drives me nuts when, like, you know, kids are asking for, like, you know, I want this, I want that, and I'm, like, in public, and it's like, I don't want to lose my mind in front of everybody. Best time to start practicing some of that grounding energy. And this is another good way to maintain a sense of that empowerment. You know, when you're good at managing your emotions, then it gives you this sense of, like, the one thing you can control is your emotions. So it gives you this sense of control. And I think what I wanted to get at was, all day long when I'm in the courtroom, I'm witnessing, like, these situations and scenarios where have these folks been more cognizant of how they were feeling and been in a more empowered state, the outcome of their situations could have been, like, 1,000 times better. And I always think about, like, my own situations, you know, and I'm like, what situation could have gone better if I was, like, you know, just had controlled my emotions a little bit better. So I'm going to look at some of these comments here real quick. And, okay. Yeah, so just to recap, if you're just popping on, we're talking about the energy lately. And if, like, Piscean energy is a water sign, which is very emotional. On the one hand, Pisces is very, you're like the omega and the alpha and the omega of the zodiac. So you're either, like, super wise or super brand new, essentially, in a nutshell. And so you can run the gamut of emotions. And for me, being a fire sign, a Sagittarius, whenever it's Piscean energy, I tend to get really irritated and just really hormonal almost. That real like wave kind of feeling of all over the place. And so some folks were saying, yeah, I feel that way too. And it's Mercury retrograde. Mindset's good. Well, good, Michelle. I'm glad your mindset's strong. That's awesome. And hello to everybody who's popped on. Kimberly, Marissa, Beck. Yeah. And Christy says, I think my mom's negative energy last night also. I was in a really good mood until she... Yes. So that's the thing. Like when people put energy out there, I like to think of it like this, you know, as much as we're irritated with them, it's something in them we're seeing in ourselves. That saying of I am not what you think I am. You are what you think I am. And so when we're getting aggravated with other people, like I felt like I responded to my mom in a sense like, oh my God, I don't like it when I'm like this. And so like it made me feel panicky, and I immediately sort of like that contagious energy. And so how do we not so much, there's sort of, anybody else ever heard of this like argument amongst energy workers, whether you should protect yourself and shield yourself versus that's scarcity and fear-based, and we don't need to do that as long as you are really strong in your energy. They're sort of like, people go back and forth. I'm okay with the idea of wanting to protect yourself. I think that's an act of empowerment if you want to shield yourself, if you want to figuratively imagine, like, for me, one of the ways if I'm going somewhere and I feel like some real strong negative energy, like when I was in the jail or if I was on a call or something, you're around a lot of negativity. I imagine like this sort of cloak I put over myself. And now lately it's been like slipping into like this sort of hood of a wolf's head, almost like where the wolf's eyes turn into my eyes. And that's how I tend to journey quite a bit. So I'd love to hear some of y'all's ideas about how you deal with other people's energy, how you transition, maybe if you're coming into or out of a space, your home, maybe leaving work, coming into your home. And what are some rituals you think you could incorporate? And if... I'd like to have like a bit of a conversation. I see a bunch of you guys trying to get added on. And I'm going to try to see if I can pop you guys on. The only other thing I wanted to mention was next week, or I think for the card pull, we've decided that because so many people want to do get an individual card, I'm going to tape or pre-record the actual card pull itself for the week, the weekly one with the overall cards. And then for the Facebook Live, then I'm going to do the live card pull party. That way, like, it doesn't turn into 2 hours, because some of y'all are real faithful and stayed on the whole time, and you guys are awesome. But for doing that, this type of call, I think there's a couple of options I can do, but most of them involve something similar to like Zoom, where you all call into like a webinar type setting, and we can all chat and look like the Brady Bunch on like a screen, and it's more interactive. So bear with me as I set up my, as you can see, very barren office at this time. And let me see if I can add on some people this way. I might only be able to add on one person at a time. So I really appreciate everybody's patience with this as we figure out the tech stuff. And so, yeah, so we were talking about like saging. Oh, let me just say that. I was told by my mentor, Olga, it's never saging. You don't say I lavendered something. So you don't sage something. You always smudge. Smudge is the verb. Sage is the herb. Okay, so I just did a big boo-boo myself, so it's okay. So one of the ways that I'm going to purify my house, if you're just coming on, my new home, and you can do this for yourself, and you can do this, in fact, for any new thing that comes into your home. For example, like these selenite sticks that I'm going to place in the corner of every room, I'm going to smudge them first before I use them in purifying my house. Because you never know, like, where they came from or what other people's energy was on it when, maybe the guy who was packing it was irritated when he was packing it, you never know where you're picking up some energy. So back to that question about, like, what are your thoughts on, do you believe that shielding or protecting yourself is necessary, or do you think that concept is fear-based, and then there's really no reason for it if you practice your own strong vibration and your own energy? So let me know what you think about that, because I personally think if you're practicing shielding or protecting yourself as an empowerment thing, like, hey, I just know that I want to have good boundaries and I want to take care of me and my, my space, then it can be a good thing. It's not fear-based. I just choose not to allow negativity here. So I'm going to talk, I'm waiting for somebody to pop on or give me a question here. So give you guys some opportunity to chit chat. So while I'm waiting for somebody to ask me to invite them on, I'll just ramble a little bit about the process of smudging. And you can use lots of crystals to help purify your home after you've smudged it, but the way I was taught is you take whenever you get like a bundle of wild sage, you never want to burn the whole stick. So, because if you burn the whole stick, whenever you light it again, you're sort of picking up the energy from the last session. And so it's good to break it up and make it loose, and then burn just what you need in a separate bowl. And then, so I am just, in case you all didn't notice, I am just rambling here waiting on one of you guys to pop on and give me a good question about anything we talked about so far. So, because I can easily make a little how-to video on smudging a house or yourself. And the other day, a couple weeks ago, I smudged like a whole bunch of stuff. I smudged my tarot deck, I smudged my medicine cards, I smudged all of my candles. And like I said, I ordered a bunch of stuff coming. Some of them are like obsidian arrowheads that I'm going to put on the outside of my house in the dirt. And there, anything that you're planning to use to bring into your home, that's something you can smudge as well. But so if y'all are interested, just let me know if you want a kind of how-to on smudging, and particularly a new home, because I'm planning on doing it myself, and after I do it, I'll feel more comfortable about teaching it. So see one, do one, teach one. So in the meantime, I wanted to bring up one other thing, because last week we talked about the map of consciousness and the emotional scale and empowerment. And I'm really feeling like when we have good techniques for mastering our own energy or maintaining good emotional hygiene, this helps us to not be in like reactive mode, and to give us that space to kind of get to a neutral place where we're like, how am I feeling? Like, what am I really feeling right now? And consciously think through wow, I'm really feeling low resonating right now, and in like maybe shame. And why am I feeling that way? Oh, I'm being triggered by this thought that I'm having. And then you think, well, is this thought true? You can work your way through your disempowered state by allowing yourself the space to witness yourself and keep going, moving up the emotional scale and helping you kind of I don't want to say rid yourself of the negative emotion, but like most of the time, when people behave, they act out in a certain way, it's usually with the intent that it's going to make them feel better. Nearly every action, self-sabotage, violence, hurtful thing you say, we say it or do it or think it with the intention that we're going to relieve ourselves of this feeling that we're having, this pent up feeling, emotion, or whatever that we're uncomfortable with, and we think that by doing or acting or saying something, it's going to transform that energy, that feeling inside of us. No other way displays this for me than, like, for example, my two older sons, when they were little, they had ADHD, and they still do. I think they had to get it from me, but their dad as well. And I could understand when I was a kid, there was this overwhelming emotional states would come over me. Like I'd get upset about something, and one thing that I remembered was this impulsivity, like this inability to put like a filter between what I was thinking and what came out of my mouth. I'm totally generalizing, but I think for girls who have ADHD, we tend to talk and be chatty quite a bit. And for boys with ADHD, they tend to be a lot more what my mom would call rammy, rambunctious, like jump around, that's where you start seeing some of that whole oh, I don't like what's going on here, so let me just run over and kick that kid for no reason. And when you see kids, they're just especially kids with ADHD, it's sort of like watching our inner child, our internal urges with no filter. And the reason I bring that up is what is the whole point of wanting to be empowered? The whole point of empowerment is self-mastery. And when you're feeling like you have ADHD or you're in a state of being triggered all the time or disempowerment, you're not in self-mastery. You're being ruled by impulses. You're being ruled by the feelings that come over you, basically, instead of a place of groundedness, a place of feeling centered in self. And so I'm wondering, is there anyone else who wants to pop on or add something to this conversation? I'm really looking forward to when I get the Zoom thing going. If you're still on and you want to hop in and say hi, at least I want to see if I can add somebody to the call, because we've got about 28 more minutes so that I've set aside. So if you want to come on, Courtney, let me see if I can add you. I'm going to add Courtney. And while you're doing that, it says adding, so I'm hoping you can pop on. While you're adding, it's still saying adding on here. Hello.
Hello.
There you are. You're sideways.
I know. It's
there we go.
to turn the phone, which is so weird.
Yeah, I have mine on sideways because if you're upright, it makes you sideways. Well, hi. Thanks for joining.
I didn't anticipate this.
But I'm glad you're here, though.
I was just so cool. I just did an interview today. So
cool. Were you interviewed or did you interview somebody else?
I interviewed someone.
Oh, what was it about?
The owner of Think Creative Collective. Her name's Abigail. This is my daughter.
Hi. Hello.
And we both have messed up teeth. The one, the tooth.
That's so all right.
No, but it's so weird. I damaged my tooth like a long time ago. I hit it, and then she did the same thing. It's so funny. It's very wrong. Like, I wonder what that's about.
So you had this interview, and what did y'all talk about? Is it for an interview series?
Yes, I'm doing an interview series, and I just interviewed her about the Young Living business because she is also in Young Living, and I decided to sign up under her because she also has a 6-figure business. I think whoever you resonate with, you should sign up for with them.
Yes.
Because
yes.
It's more about, you know, I mean, I resonate with a lot of friends. I have so many friends doing it, so it was hard to make that choice. But
can you share with like everyone else like who's not familiar with Young Living what it is?
Young Living is a network marketing business. And so we sort of were demystifying network marketing, and
they sell essential oils, right?
Yeah, essential oils. And also
the interview was really good, right?
Oh, it was great. It went great. And they sell products too.
Yeah, diffusers, all that good stuff, right?
Or yeah. And it's like, well, there's coaching that happens, you know, and support.
Really? Cool.
Well, with network, like a lot of network marketing, you know, there's lots of groups and calls and all that. So, yeah.
Nice.
But it was a great interview. It went well. And so I'm excited about converting it into a file and editing it. I like that.
And was this your first interview?
No, I've done like 5 of them.
Cool. How many more are you gonna do?
Like I felt rusty a little bit, and so I need to like get practice again. You know, I think like the key to interviewing people is to look up like questions that people ask ahead of time, like famous questions that people ask entrepreneurs, or famous questions that you ask network marketers, because there's just a lot of misconception. A lot of people want to say that network marketing is a pyramid scheme, and it's really not. It's really, it's not a pyramid scheme. It's really a network marketing, which basically means that the people depend on each other to promote. Yeah.
Cool. So I like Young Living. I've used essential oils too, but not Young Living's. Like I've used them through you know, other people who gifted some to me, but as it relates to what we were talking about, smudging and all that, like you can definitely use some essential oil through
Clary Sage,
purifying your space.
Clary Sage is Clary Sage is amazing. Whenever I feel like out of balance or something, excuse me while I just fix my hair real quick, because it feels it feels like it's like but
you're fine.
Yeah, Clary Sage is amazing. It is good for hormone balancing. And also it can clear, like it's almost like Clary Sage is kind of like a sage in the sense that it will clear like negative energies. Also, cedarwood essential oil is amazing for cleansing the spirit. It can cleanse it, like, and you can put a tiny bit on top of your kid's head if they're like a little like out of control or something, put a tiny
They're feeling ADHD,
uh,
Rami.
yes, put a tiny little bit of cedarwood essential oil on the back of their neck, like in their where their pineal gland is, and maybe at the top of the head. And
Really?
also, yeah. And then you can also give your kids foot baths, which are really grounding, and do like a salt scrub. So you could make your own salt scrub. And just with sea salt and maybe like avocado oil or sunflower oil that you get at the grocery store, or coconut oil.
Yeah.
And mix that, and then put essential oils in there, and then give them a little foot scrub, and then put socks on them, on their feet. And you could do this for yourself too. It's very grounding. And
nice.
So, yeah.
What oil do you recommend for that?
I personally like rose geranium. Or geranium. I think it's really like for women, that's a really good one. But for kids, I think clary sage would be a really good one. It's a really gentle one. Frankincense would be really good. Maybe lavender would be amazing.
Lavender's always a good go-to one for calming. And
yeah. I noticed a big difference and shift in my life when I started focusing on food, nutrition, health, and oils. I always had learning disabilities and ADHD, but when I sort of like learned grounding tools, that really helped me.
Yes, I think for especially if you are ADHD, there's I don't know if you have this experience, but there's a sensory component, like your senses of like certain fabrics being on your skin, like would bother me immensely. Like I couldn't wear socks with the seam on them, because if I put them in my shoe, my foot in my shoe, it would take me like 20 minutes to put on my shoes, because I was like always readjusting the seam and just stuff like that. Like, to me, I think that when you're a kid and you're growing up and you don't understand like what's going on inside my body, like, you're just, that can be anxiety provoking, and to know like, hey, maybe this is normal. Like, not to say normal, but like, this is common, and there's an explanation for what's going on in my body. I've learned through like, not medication, there's certain things that I do take, like I'll take St. John's wort, and I'll take now that I take Synthroid, but before I was taking tyrosine, the amino acid, that really helps with like ADHD symptoms. And when you pay attention to like how your body reacts to chemicals and foods and stuff, what aggravates you, what to eliminate, like, I know, like, if I want to feel really grounded, I'm going to eat some root vegetables. I'm going to eat some, like, things that are in season. I love avocados,
Exactly.
things like that. Like, the food that feel good to you, and you're going to keep, like, if I eat this, like dairy or whatever, it's going to make me go nuts. But the point I was mentioning about the sensation, like things like that, like, that was one of the things that I had to practice mental things. Like, no medication's going to make that go away. You know what I mean? You have to like really practice, like, skill.
Medication is not going to do anything.
Yeah.
Medication
those
your health.
Exactly. And it's one of those like where you practice the energy underneath it, like addressing the skill behind managing the energy, like your anxiety that you get, or like that impulsivity, or I know you understand what I'm saying, because if you've experienced it, you're like, there's a lot of noise in your head going on, and it's hard to focus on what's going on out here if you got a lot going on in here. you know? So definitely. Thank you for sharing all your info about the
Oh,
clary sage and the foot scrub.
I'm an
I
Ayurvedic
totally,
practitioner. So I
yeah, that's
at this place called the Dhyana Center in Sebastopol, and it was a great place. And I learned so much in that time that I went to school, and um, it's helped me tremendously. And I've been able to help so many of my friends. And so now my biggest passion is helping women, you know, become wellness coaches themselves.
mm-hmm.
So, and to find their purpose through, you know, self-care. So,
Yeah, and it could be something like simple every day that you add into your life. Do you have something like, I mentioned the brushing. Do you have something else that you do daily, like that's real simple, people could add in to help transition them to, from maybe work to home, or from like,
yeah.
being out with a whole bunch of people to coming into your own space, that kind of thing?
Yeah, there's this thing called a gua sha, but you can just take a rock, a flatter rock, and you take it and you like take the edge of the rock, and you rub it on the bottom of your soles of your feet and massage your feet back and forth, and it can actually stimulate a lot of your feet are connected to your whole body, so it can
Really?
stimulate.
Yeah, like reflexology, right?
Exactly. And so it can kind of ground you out and stimulate. And so you could give yourself like a salt scrub foot bath and then scrub your feet after that or during with a rock. And I can show you a rock that I use. Let me see if I could go get it. 1 minute here. Let me see.
And is just any rock you like pick up in your yard, or
Looking for the, like, an example.
mm-hmm.
There we go.
If you're just coming on, we're having a chat about ways that you can help ground yourself or transition from coming home from work.
Yeah, so you can take this rock and just kind of against your feet, you know.
And what's that rock made of?
I think
a certain type.
I think it's like, but this is what I mean on the bottom of your foot,
Mm-hmm.
like that kind of thing. And you can also do that around, like this is your lymphatic system right here, and
mm-hmm.
so and hands, head, feet to heart, pulling the energy to your heart on the inner. This is your lymph.
Yeah.
Your lymph is all through here, and then you can go across your chest here and across here. And
it's all, you said, towards the heart, right?
yeah. Mm-hmm. And then across here, and the inner thighs is a really good one.
Is that
There's
like your meridian too? On your energy meridians, you can do brushing on that as well?
Oh yeah, I would love to start brushing. I went to one of those discount stores, TJ Maxx, to look for one of those hand brushes. I couldn't find one that was just the hand one, but I want the hand one. The long one is a little awkward, but the hand one, I want to just go for it.
Yeah.
Because it's supposed to stimulate the skin. And the other thing that's really amazing that I haven't yet tried, but I've done some research on, is the jade roller, face roller. I want one. It looks amazing. I've seen like the benefits. So I want to get.
When you mentioned jade, I was like, we eventually need to have a chat about yoni eggs. I don't know if you knew about jade yoni eggs, but like when you said jade, I immediately thought of that. So we're going to have a definite conversation about yoni eggs and taking care of our yonis and womb energy too. So
I have a friend that actually can come on for that. She does cervical wellness healing. Her name is Danelle.
Ooh,
and
awesome.
Specializes in that. She could come and do a live here in your group.
I'd love that. Yeah.
I'll connect you to her.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and that's something You can smudge as well. I smudged my Yoni eggs. I made sure they're, because you never know. Like if you order them online on Amazon or something, you don't
Right.
know like who created them or where they came from, and
Treat them as salt.
yeah. And
Yeah.
also just like crystals, like some of them are you can get them jade. One of them is rose quartz. You can get different gems or not gems. Mineral. What am I thinking of? Materials. We'll just say they're made out of different materials, and you can always soak them in natural water. If you can't find like rainwater or sea salt or something, distilled water will work. But I usually like pray over it or something, and set your intentions like purify with this.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Another good thing is to clean all your stones, like take it to the beach or in sea salt water and on the full moon.
Yeah. I've heard them in rainwater and charge them under the full moon too as well. And ground, I've never heard of this before, but burying them in the ground.
Earthing.
Yep.
Totally makes sense.
Yeah.
They say there's a whole science to grounding, and putting your feet in the ground is like actually
that's another very simple way to ground yourself. Literally, like if you're feeling super stressed, my mentor Olga was telling a story about her when she does a lot of energy healing, and this guy like levitated off of her table, and she told him, "Go outside right now and go stand on the ground and like get your feet in the dirt." Like literally like.
Uh-oh.
And how many of us don't ever put our feet directly on the ground, right? So like whenever you're feeling like super stressed, this like now when kids are going crazy, this is the perfect time to go run outside and go put your feet in the ground.
Right.
So
goodness.
Yeah.
I know. We live under a redwood tree though, and I've been dealing with bird mites. So I'm scared of my outdoor space right now.
Yeah, find a
bird nests that live under the redwood tree, and like it's crazy. So when I go out to nature, I usually go to like a park, and then when I come home, I usually like strip all my clothes now, and ever since we had that ordeal, it was kind of stressful. But but that's why like essential oils are super powerful. You hurt your lips somehow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, essential oils are powerful. Definitely.
Yeah.
Well, I know we got like maybe a few minutes left here, and I'm so happy you popped on and shared those. Like I did not know about that foot scrub. Would you be willing to just write a little recipe or post it on here about the foot scrub, because I know I'd like to try it. So
yeah,
that'd be
definitely. I would love to.
Thank you so much. Yay.
Yeah. Awesome.
All right.
It's been fun. If I was a little bit more prepared, but it's also good, the candid.
I like kind of just the natural, like let's just talk about what came off the top of our heads, So
yeah, it sometimes works that way, especially when you're. It's just sometimes better. It's more
I like how things unfold when they're not planned. You know what I mean?
It's true.
When things aren't planned and they're not scripted, like it just seems like a much more beautiful tapestry gets woven. I do
agree.
Definitely.
I do. Yes, get a gua sha.
Gua sha. Can you put that as well in the comments so anyone else who listens can check it out?
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. Thank you so much, Courtney.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah. Hugs through the internet. Mwah.
Hey.
All right. Cool. Well, I think I'm going to probably pop off now because it's almost 8 o'clock and we still have to go grocery shopping because we don't have any groceries in our new home. So we have to do
good space.
This is my new office, but it's like totally barren.
You know what? I say it's a clean canvas. It's a clean canvas.
Exactly. Yes, that's what I'm thinking. A perfectly good clean canvas. So, yes. And that's why I'm going to smudge as soon as I get all of my other items in that I plan to use as I'm smudging, because I have some arrowheads I'm waiting on. And
that's so cool.
Yes, a few other things.
I have arrowheads.
Mm-hmm.
From this property that we grew up on.
One of the ways that I was told to use the arrowheads is when you, on the outside of your house, kind of to create like a sentries, you know, a barrier for protection around your home. You put them point down in every corner of your house, outside in the dirt.
Oh wow!
And put a bay leaf with the pointing outward, and that's also to symbolize like protection. Like I'm gonna talk more about it too because I haven't done it yet. I've heard about it, but I haven't done it yet. And so after I do it, I'll feel a lot more comfortable about.
Well, that sounds amazing. I will try that because I'm all about protection. Like in our hometown, we've had some home invasions, so I need that right now. And I've been a little tripped out by it, honestly. But you know, so that's a good one. I really like that. I think that's what sounds like an amazing tool.
Yeah, definitely try that with the obsidian arrowheads. Putting them in each corner in the ground, like you stick them in, push them up. Yeah,
that's awesome.
So let me know how you do with it, okay? And I'll give you all more info as I do it for my house. I'm sure the neighbors will be like, "What in the world is she doing?" But that's okay.
I have neighbors like that.
Yeah, that's all right. It's okay. Like. I've already, my guy has told me, have you ever seen the movie The Proposal with Sandra Bullock in it?
I want to see it. And I have, maybe a long time.
Just you can Google Betty White in The Proposal, and she plays this old, partially native woman from Alaska, Sitka, Alaska, and she's out in the woods drumming, and that's pretty much how my guy feels that I am with my shaman studies. So
I love that.
Yeah, very amusing. It's a very amusing scene. Actually, I'll post it in here. That scene. He's like, "This is whenever you go to your shaman group, I think this is what you guys do." And I'm like, "Yeah, okay." So I was like,
none of that phases me at all. That's like Sonoma County in a nutshell.
Yeah.
There's so many Native Americans here, you know, they're all over the United States, but so it's good that we honor that, you know, that culture, and because we're on the
shamanism is not just native.
Oh, it's across the world.
Yeah, like there's Celtic, there's Peruvian, there's Quechuan, there's like I
didn't know there was Celtic because I'm Irish. That makes sense.
Yeah. Shaman actually is a Siberian word. It's like essentially the medicine woman, the medicine man, the spiritual leader of the tribe. And that dynamic was like seen in nearly every culture in our indigenous tribes. And
it's needed for our overall wellness for sure.
Yes.
Like that's what our culture is lacking, and it's like
you know, we have doctors, we do have priests, we do have, you know, but it's not holistic.
Mind body.
You're heartbroken? Well, here, drink this tea, you know? Like go stand outside and put your feet on the ground, like blow into this rock and bury the rock. Blow all your troubles into this and, put it in the ground.
It's amazing how things like that can help, like hibiscus for a broken heart, It's actually proven that, these things are, emotional affects the physical or vice versa. And so
yeah, exactly.
It's connected.
Yeah. Yes. And well, plant medicine is amazing because it's just like pharmaceuticals, but natural. And well, believe it or not, pharmaceuticals were like, they look at the drug interaction of like plant medicine and they try to mimic it. And
exactly.
Yeah. And they regulate it. And it's like,
super
well,
scary.
You can't. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. It's like
the real thing is the real thing, and you cannot mimic it with man-made.
Exactly. Same thing with GMO food and whatnot. But we try to do some crazy stuff, and if nature's already got it figured out, plant medicine's really, really good. So, well, we're almost at the hour here, and I'm so happy we got to chat about this. So, I'm really hoping more when I get the Zoom like webinar thingy set up, a whole bunch of us can chat. And I'd love to chat with your friend about the yoni eggs and womb healing and cervical wellness. That in and of itself, like we could talk about plant medicine for that. Oh my gosh, like vegan diet for womb wellness is like, I keep thinking I want to go vegan and then I try it and it's like, I miss
problem. Food. I've been trying to go vegan myself lately.
Yeah, when I eat vegan, I feel fantastic, but I'm not a vegan chef, and so there's only so much I can make that I'm like, okay, I need some flavor here. And,
we're not classically trained. The key is like with foods like that, you want to add a lot of spices, like sumac spice and cayenne, and spicing up your food can really transform a meal. But
I really like some of the Indian spices, like curry and I'm trying to think off the top of my head, like ones that I've cooked with that just really made the food, like turmeric itself, like, oh my gosh, like I'll make whenever I'm like having a really painful period or when I was getting migraines, the only thing that would really help was almond milk mixed with turmeric and black pepper. And oh my God.
Like golden milk.
Golden milk. It's good stuff.
Yeah.
Ooh. Natural. Ooh. So. Well, lovely lady, I'm going to head out now. It was so nice to chat with you, and thank you for everyone else who was listening in. I think we had a great conversation. So if you could, don't forget that really awesome foot scrub and the, what was the name of the rock that you?
Gua sha.
Gua sha. That's awesome. Thank you so much for sharing. Good ideas. And remember, guys, brushing, grounding, so many, real easy ways to get, calm and centered and take care of yourself. So hopefully you guys got some good ideas, and thank you for joining.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Bye for now.
Bye.
Bye.